Hello, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here. Let's get some of these mics closer. There we go. Now I'm looking at a lot of stuff. Let me see. Welcome, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here. Everybody loves Raymond, ELR 360 Live. Every single Sunday for the past 5 years, I was a writer on the show. We have about 5,000 new people coming. So for those of you that have been around forever, just know that there's a lot of new people. So I'm going to be make sure I introduce myself to all of them. Let me see. Let me go. Oh yeah, I got to go live on Instagram. Do this. Okay. I got to do this. Yes, Brad Garrett always makes fun of me because he's like, Tom, haven't you done this before? I have. Welcome. All questions about Everose Raymond. Hello, Karen. Yes, happy Star Wars Day. That would be, let me see, I have to post that picture. Let me look. That's what I'm looking on my phone now. Mark Hamill. Do I have Mark Hamill in here? Welcome, people. Tom Caltabiano here. May 4th. So I'm dictating to my phone. I have 200,000 photos in my camera on my phone, on my trusty phone. So there, that's when you scroll through my phone on May 4th, that's what comes up. I think, let's see this. For those of you that don't know what I am talking about, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Everose Raymond. On one of our episodes, a gentleman visited. Here we go. I apologize, everybody. Another cough. So there you go. That guy was in Star Wars. That guy was not in Star Wars. That guy was not in Star Wars. And I believe that might be his son. Is that Mark Hamill's son? For those of you that know, are in the know. There we go. And I can't remember which episode he visited. I'm going to say it was season 2, early on. So when I search my phone, that photo comes up. Let's see, May 4th, yes, because for those of you who have never seen Star Wars, may the Force be with you. Little play on words. So there you go, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hi, Thomas Gerard. Sounding good. I like that. Okay, let me scroll through. Let me go through there. Let me put this up here. So I have 2 different screens going, and I don't like to neglect anybody, but I can only look at so many things at once. Instagram, etc. So again, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Everose Raymond since the beginning. Still friends with Raymond before the show. Still friends with Raymond. Still see Ray and Phil Rosenthal a lot, fairly often, very often, I would say. And Patty less so, and Brad less so. Patty lives all over the world, it seems, and Brad lives in Vegas. But for those of you, I'm reestablishing that because a lot of you don't know me, and I'm just a strange person, and I'm not in the cast, etc. But I was a writer, and while I was a writer, I took 30,000 behind-the-scenes photos, and we published a book called Everose Raymond, Our Family Album. And so unlike the actors, other than Raymond, I was in on the genesis of the stories. And so I try and bring that. And then I also try and talk to absolutely every single person that worked on the show, no matter what their capacity. So I hope that clears things up a little bit for those of you who are like, I don't know who that guy is. All right, let me scroll through some questions here. And I will say this. I do. So for those of you just watching, I appreciate it. We've, in the last 5 days, we have 5,000 new followers. And what I have found is that, and this is interesting in this regard for those of you that care about not care about Facebook, but want to know how it works. So this video that I put up of that's Brad hugging Phil, but it's the final call. That's an 18-second, 20-second video. That video has over 1 million views. Okay. So a lot of people who have no clue who I am, and a lot of people who have no clue who Phil is. So when I say Phil, most of you who are watching know who Phil Rosenthal is. Phil Rosenthal is the creator of Everybody's Raymond, which was based on Ray Romano's real life. And what Phil didn't know about Ray's life, he filled in with his own parents. For example, the Fruit of the Month Club is 100% lifted from Phil's life, a speech that he gave at his brother's wedding about giving his parents the Fruit of the Month gift. Okay, and they reacted as you would expect, like Frank Marie. So I know for some people are like, isn't it based on Phil's life? It's like, I will tell you the lineage is. So the answer is Phil and Ray contributed equally. But if you're just talking about the scenario, the setting, Ray Romano in real life has a brother that was a cop who lived with his parents, and they lived across the street. They lived around the corner, so not exactly across the street. His father was very much like Frank, especially in the pilot, sucking in that youth, changed the outgoing message on Ray's wife's answering machine, etc. So the setting was very much Ray Romano's real life. He has twin boys. He has a daughter named Allie. But Phil brought in, things from his parents. And then after the pilot, the writers brought in any story. You have to write 210 episodes about family drama that basically takes place in the living room and a kitchen, which is where most of our lives do take place. But you want great stories from wherever they come. So I wanted to address this. I read somebody wrote a comment and said, the Deborah character is based on Ray's real life wife, and therefore she must be an angry, mean spirited, etc. person. So when you're writing a show, here, I've said this before, all of our lives, I don't care if you're George Clooney or Brad Pitt or Scarlett Johansson, most of your life is banal, boring stuff. It's day-to-day, tedious stuff. Even, I'm going to shock some of you, even when you're shooting a movie, even when you're making Mission Impossible and you're Tom Cruise, most of the time you are sitting in your trailer waiting for someone to say, we're ready for you now, Tom. And then he goes and shoots something, and then he goes back in his trailer. I'm not saying it's like, wow, Tom, Tom, that's a tough life. How does someone do it? I understand that a coal miner wouldn't mind doing that or something like that. But most of our lives are boring. So hold on. I'm sorry, everybody. I have a cough, and I took honey, like Gil and all of my listeners recommended. So here, I'm taking from the AIS mug a sip of tea. Here we go. And it's P&G Tips. It's the only thing I could grab because I was in a rush today. So there you go. This we went back and forth for about 4 months to decide whether we were going to say SS, ass and seat, but we never know. Children are going to look in your cupboard and be like, hey, what does ass mean? Mommy, daddy, or whatever. And then you go, hey, I'm going to write to Tom and tell him not to do that. And that's us. That's our little logo. It's a classic old TV, etc. So, boring lives. Most of us live boring lives. Trust me, trust me, trust me. When you see the red carpet, you see all the fancy stuff, you're like, wow, I'd love to star in Mission Impossible. But it's a lot of grueling work and a lot of sitting around. So, going back to Ray's real life wife and Phil's real life wife, etc., every story has to be heightened, because if you took a camera, even the reality shows they shoot a crazy amount of video, and then they edit it down to make things look interesting. They add conflict, etc. So when Ray's real life wife goes through something, and the truth is there aren't that many stories, the pilot, but a lot more of the wife stories come from Phil Rosenthal's real life wife, who played Amy in the series. The can opener, the PMS episode, just are two that pop into my head. The baggage episode came from Tucker Cawley and his wife Eileen, and a real fight they had over a suitcase. So when you're from the outside watching it, you're like, man, I can't believe Deborah is so mean to him. Well, people getting along is really boring. It's super, super boring. People with nice, easy lives are very boring. So watching nice people being nice to each other is really terrible. And so when I read the comments about Ray's wife must really be terrible, I want to be. I can't talk to everybody. That's why, hopefully, I'm trying. I'm trying to talk to everybody now through this little live thing that I do, and through our comments, etc. Which I do appreciate. A lot of people are coming in and answering for other people. Okay, so does that clear it up a little? That Ray's wife in real life is nice. And I know when you're under the scrutiny, so they post pictures of Ray and his wife, and if she's not smiling, they're like, "Wow, what a dour, angry, serious, terrible person she is." And I'm like, if someone's following you around at a party and they happen to catch you while you're trying to figure out what is stuck to your shoe, and you have a weird look, and they're like, "Boy, I can't believe they went to a fancy schmancy party," and they look so unhappy. So there you go, addressing a couple of things there. And, I've mentioned before, there's probably going to be some type of exhibit coming up in the summer. Here, I'm pressing some buttons here. Let's see. Let me put that gain down. Okay, why is that? Okay, there we go. Okay. Yes, much better. Okay. I'm saying okay to myself, by the way. There's nobody here, people. Um, I will let you know everything that happened. I'll let you know if the TV special is going to happen. Right now, nothing has changed, meaning we still think it's going to be pitched and then it will happen. By the way, I just got a notice from eBay. They have the most pleasant tone, eBay. I wish I could replicate that tone. Let me see what the notification is for. Let me see. Nothing really exciting at all. Okay, let me see this. Let me check some comments, everybody. Hello, I can bring comments up. So I see the comments from Facebook and I see the comments from Instagram, and I try and bring them up, everybody. Hi, Annabelle. You coming home from a casino. Raymond likes to gamble. Here, let me do this. Let's call it gambling. I'm not accusing you of gambling, but okay, let's see. How do I make that? Okay, yeah. Okay, that looks good. There we go. Driving home from the casino. For those of you that don't know, Annabelle is one of the few fans that actually held the canister on the set during the show. Of course, our fan Gil came out and visited, and I did take a picture of him. Okay, let me keep going. Quick question. When you discuss an episode that you could include who wrote the episode and if it's true or not? Hi, Maria. So, Maria, we are going to be doing a podcast. I keep saying that. I know this feels like a podcast, but an actual podcast where we go through every single episode from beginning to end. And so, let me see this. How do I do this? Yes. Okay. I was just discovering the mute button. Yes, I will mention if it's true. So let's go back. Most of the stories, almost all of the stories, have some germ of truth or based on a real life story instigating. Now, what I said before about boring things, our lives are boring. When you're sitting at home going, they have such an exciting life. I want you to know that we have to spice up the reality to make it better. Now, the frog episode. Hold on, I'm just clipping my mic again. Okay, there we go. The frog episode, that was based on real life. That was a crazy story that happened to Ray's brother in real life. Only instead of frogs, it was snakes. And she swore a couple times. The woman, we didn't put that in the show. He was a policeman. He did go out the fire escape. He did have an ankle holster on him, but he feared for his life from the crazy snake lady. We changed it to frogs, and Ray had the idea with Kevin James and myself. We were working on a movie idea. We did not come up with a movie idea, but we stood in a room, sat in a room for 5 days. And the one thing that we came away is Ray just said, "What if I see your girlfriend, Kevin, in our imaginary movie, which we're hoping to write, eating a fly?" And I don't know what to say. So that melded perfectly with what happened to Ray's real life brother, the policeman, whose name is Richard. So yes, Maria, I will name all of the people that wrote it, and also, you know, there's a lot of episodes where you have this collective mind, meaning, I guess in the way that when you're writing a song and someone's like, hey, I think I have another lyric here, if the person who initially wrote the song doesn't write every single lyric, it's okay, because you want the end result to be best. And that's the teamwork environment of the show. And one of the things that I just posted, rather, was Duck Duck Goose. You heard them pitching. That's all the writers sitting there around pitching, and Phil's in the middle. Phil's giving notes. And I don't even know if that must have been cut from the show. I'll have to look at the original script. But even if a writer said, hey, what about this joke? And it was terrible, you don't say, that's terrible. You sit there and you can see Phil doing that, is kind of thinking. And Ray also, because you might pitch something terrible. Pitching, by the way, is saying out loud a joke. Hey, does anybody have any pitches here for this joke that did not get a laugh in front of the live audience? We're taking any pitches right now because we're under the gun and we're trying to make a live TV show. And so you say anything that comes into your head, because then maybe Ray or Phil's like, oh, but maybe not that, but maybe this. Okay, that's in the creative, supportive environment, versus the uncreative, unsupportive, where you say, what about Duck Duck Goose? And then someone says, well, that's stupid. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to some questions, everybody. Yes. By the way, okay, let me see. Yes. Thank you, Ellen. That was a great video, and all of you writers are wonderful. That was very nice. Phil may have the most contagious smile in the world. Yes, a very good smile. Did one of the writers not vote for his wife for president for the PTA? That's a very interesting question. Hello, Gil. Karen, I don't remember. Who wrote that one? Was that a Steve Scrovan script? Was that the Vote for Deborah episode? Hi, Diane, Dave Harris. Now, is your middle name Dave? Is your husband? I must say this. I'm not picking on you, but you know, when people have both their names in their account, it's hard to, like, who am I talking to? Am I talking to Lisa or Larry? Who's commenting when they combine it? Yes, Anna is a lovely person, very shy, I would say, not seeking the limelight. And what's amazing. Here's what's amazing, folks, because I dabble on the inside and outside, meaning I am completely obscure. Nobody knows me, but I'm around a decent amount of celebrities. And it's really tough on women because the judgment of women, you're under the magnifying glass. And you know how you guys feel as, like, you're going into work and you're like, I don't feel good today. I don't feel my best. I don't look my best, etc. And if you're a celebrity, the paparazzi, even if it's not paparazzi, just being on camera, they don't care. It's like, we don't care that you just had a fight with your husband. We don't care that you just had this. We don't care. We will take a picture, put it up, and judge you harshly. My volume seems super low. Oh, boy, did that cough come through? Does anybody else have trouble with the volume? Let me know, because I can turn it up, but you know what happens? If I turn it up too loud, then it gets really distorted. So let me know, everybody, if you are able to hear me. The episode where Robert pretends to join a cult to get Deborah was great. Yes, the cult episode. Whose mother backed their car through the house? Watching that episode now. Yes. So that, okay. Thank you. So that's the wallpaper episode 100, where the car comes through the house. I just found a video of me explaining how it was done, where I'm talking to the audience. I used to go in the audience and talk to the audience every show. The episode was written by Lou Schneider. Lou Schneider, I believe it was his parents' neighbors. He had his own neighbor who would back into his car all the time, and the guy would just write him a check. But then I believe, oh, my collar? Is my collar? Oh, thank you. See that? 20 minutes in, Karen. 20 minutes in, Karen, and someone in Plymouth, England has to tell me that my collar is verklempt or something, whatever the tailor term is at. Thank you. How's that, Karen? See, my personal stylist quit today over a huff because of the matching shirt. Yes. Okay, guys. I'm going to apologize. Should I start again? Should I start the entire show again for a collar mishap? I'll just keep going. Okay, so I believe Lou Schneider's parents had that happen. I know a couple of people who had that happen, but that was the 100th episode of Ever's Raymond, and that just seemed like a giant big swing and a good, funny episode, which we did in front of the live studio audience. We did it the day before and the day of. And also, that was after the Italy episode. So I know that Lisa Helfrich Jackson, who has been my guest many times, she's the line producer. She was the line producer. Line producer, everybody. They have to do all of the technical stuff of the show. So if Phil and Ray and the writers come up with, hey, wouldn't this be great? And then they call in Lisa and go, Lisa, can you have a car come through the wall and do it in front of a live audience and not be delayed too much in rebuilding the entire set? We won't wait for your answer. Great, get it done. And so that was her having to come back from Italy and then plan that episode, which worked out perfectly. Nobody was doing well. Okay. Yes, true. Okay, Ryan, this type of comedy, a comb, I try and use a comb. See, this is my comb. There you go. I don't want to knock the hairpiece loose. A Vote for Deborah, written by Lou Schneider and Steve Scrovan. Yes, thank you, Fly Lady, Linda. That would make sense because that would just totally make sense because they have very strong. Everyone has a strong wife on the show. Okay, let's see. Let's scroll down through here now. I wanted to also talk about the. Coming up is Mother's Day, and that was an arc that we did where Marie does not talk to Deborah and vice versa. And so that arc, I don't know if you guys enjoyed it, but it was so reflective of real life situations, which I'm going to go off what am I trying to say? Hold on. This is the Nemo's pizza mug, by the way. Here we go. Nemo's pizza mug. I forget what tea is in that. I usually drink coffee and tea, but I didn't have time. The person who stops talking to somebody is usually a controlling, and it's not a good way to keep the peace, and it's not a mature way. You are punishing that person. So it's terrible to watch. It's terrible to watch in real life. It was terrible to watch on the show, but you try and make it as funny as can be. That non-talking. Thank you, Gil. I appreciate it. Maybe the person who's complaining about your volume, maybe how many funny things can I say without insulting? That's the problem. That's really the problem. Because you guys don't know me and I don't want anyone to get insulted. But the best way to check this, now I'm going to get serious, is you click onto something else and you hear how that volume sounds, and then you click back onto me and you're like, oh, you know what? Everything else is low. Maybe it's my computer or not. Okay, just trying to troubleshoot, as we say in the business. Okay. One of the twins wrote a book about the family. Was that true? This is an Instagram question. Hold on. From Jenny. Okay, Jenny. So that was not only true, but that happened to Phil Rosenthal in real life. And I like that I do have encyclopedia. I don't have to look anything up. It's all in my head. Phil Rosenthal's son said it in real life. The angry family. And of course, the whole classroom is looking around and like, holy moly, what is his life like? And Phil thanked Ben Rosenthal at the end of The Angry Family. If you watch The Angry Family again, all the way to the credits, which is sometimes tough to watch the credits nowadays because on Netflix, we're not on Netflix except for in certain places, but on anything, it's like they roll into the next episode instantly. And you really don't have a chance to grab that. to grab the credits. Okay, let's go back to what was I saying about Mother's Day? Yes, the Mother's Day arc. Mother's Day is coming up. We just shipped out a bunch of the fork and spoon. Where is the? Here is the magnet, by the way. I don't like to feel like. There we go. That is the magnet. That, look how yes thick. I'm not a good salesperson, but I do love the magnet with the fork and spoon. I'm just looking for the fork and spoon. Yes, so much stuff on my desk. Let me see. This studio has yes, everything, and I do see a lot of people. There's a lot of weird stuff out there where I'm like, I don't know who's making that, but this is there. You go. That's the spoon in place with the fork and spoon. Okay, um, a great Mother's Day gift. Uh, so that Mother's Day arc, that was a big swing because to not have Marie talking with Deborah is takes away. For those of you that don't know, Marie was the most important character on the show. She drove every episode because you need a villain in screenwriting. You can't have everything go well, which is why the saga of World War II continues to um, uh, be the focus of people because it's clearly good versus evil. Of course, some people wouldn't agree, but yeah, it's good versus evil. And so that was you need an opponent. And so Marie was a viable, I mean, a super strong opponent for Deborah. And so to not have them speak was a big, big swing. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Yes, everybody. Um, okay. Yes. Scrolling down. Yes. Oh, thank you, Maureen, for defending me. On It's an everyday occurrence now where I live on Long Island. Interesting. Ryan, you have no hair, so just jealousy speaking. Okay. I will accept that, Ryan. You save so much money on shampoo and all these other positive things. Okay. Wow. A lot of the same questions in a good way. I'm not criticizing you. Hold on. Let me see the mute button. There we go. Yes, I think I had a cough for like 4 months last year, and then honey was the only thing that kept me from coughing like mad while I spoke. Was Robert and his lucky suit an actual incident? Yes, yes, it was. So that happened in real life. That was Tucker Cawley. That was Tucker. Here we go. Hold on. It's like it's weird because it's a backwards image. Um, Tucker Cawley's father is a lawyer, and he got a letter at his law firm from a woman. And the woman said, please forgive my husband because I forgot to pick up his lucky suit from the dry cleaner. And, and on and on. So the last thing you want is your wife writing to a high powered law firm that you have a lucky suit because you sound crazy. So Tucker wrote that story and it became in a very, very good way. And that's what Phil did so great on the show is it would be, you would think the story is at this level and then it got much, much deeper. So the fact that Marie could not handle the idea of her husband or her son potentially being Freudian slip there, her son potentially being in harm's way again for many more years, you all of a sudden, it was such intense emotions. And I believe Doris Roberts and Brad Garrett both won an Emmy for that episode. I could be wrong, but I'm 96.3% sure. And so that became a much, much deeper episode, The Lucky Suit. But yes, based on a real life incident, and Tucker brought it into the writer's room, and you're like, oh man, that has to happen. And so he had to figure out how to make it into a story on Raymond, and having that happen with Robert was really good. Okay. Yeah, the Mother's Day, that's a great question. Where did the Mother's Day idea come from? That I'm gonna have to that I think over those 3 episodes. So some of the time in Phil as the showrunner. So a lot of you are seeing me for the first time. A showrunner is the head of the show. They're responsible for everything, especially the writing and creative. Then you have other people that do what we call non-creative, not in a judgmental way. Hold on a second, folks. A little bit, another drink from the AIS mug. Mm. Perhaps one of the most useful phrases from a sitcom in society. I use it all the time. It clears up any ambiguity. What time are we AIS? Um, let's see. What? I was just about to get into a fantastic piece of information. Remind me, everybody, where I was. Let me see. Let me scroll down. Mother's Day, the Ark. Yes, Phil. So Phil would sometimes he'd be like, okay, we need an arc, meaning we need stories to go somewhere in this season. When you have standalone episodes, that's great. But sometimes the arc, and so here's an arc, everybody. Robert's going to get married. So what does that give you? He has to propose to the family. There has to be, sorry, a bachelor party. Oh, again, I apologize. I did drink honey, but okay, hold on. Um, mm-hmm, mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so Phil will be like, hey, if we marry off Robert, we have all those episodes. If Marie doesn't talk to Deborah, we have to figure out why they don't talk to each other. Then an episode where they're not talking to each other, and maybe an episode where we think they're going to reconcile, and then they don't. And then how do we bring them back together? So Phil goes, oh, that's 4 episodes. Now all we have to do is come up with 4 brilliant episodes, culminating in the cult episode. Um, it's kind of like how they say if Earth was invaded by aliens, all the fighting factions would band together to fight the aliens. We can only hope. Okay, here's a big one. Hi, Lynn. Why are episodes numbers so different and not consistent? I just noticed second Italy episode you mentioned at the beginning of the car episode was episode 223. Yet car, which you said was next, was 101. Where are you seeing these numbers? Because we have an internal numbering system. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we got here. The internal, what is this episode? This episode is Dancing with Deborah, and the internal code is 317. Here, I'm backwards in a mirror looking thing. Okay, that's the internal code. Okay, 9824-317. Okay, Dancing with Deborah. So that was probably the year 98. Was that season 3? I think that was season 3. So that might have been so that's our code. The the wallpaper is 100% the 100th episode that aired. So let me see. The beginning of the car, second Italy episode at the beginning of the episode was episode 223. I'm curious where you're seeing those numbers. So it should be sequential. So I can't answer that. I don't know where you're seeing that it is that way. Hi, Linda. One of the funniest parts of Lucky Sue was Phil's laugh in the background when the FBI agent was reading Marie's letter. His laugh always makes me laugh even more whenever I heard it, which was often. Yes, I've promised. I'm not saying it was a bold-faced lie. I promised to do an analysis of an episode and whose laugh is whose. And so, is that right? Is that proper English? I just sent to Mike Royce a clip because I know it's Phil laughing and then it sounds like Mike Royce, but I can tell Mike's laugh and it was slightly different. So yes, you can tell Phil's laugh. Phil has for those of you that are just joining, Tom Caltabiano here, right around there, Raymond. Phil's laugh is this giant guffaw. I mean, and it's like a giant guffaw into a honking sound, which you do want the person who is writing the show to enjoy his show. And of course, when you see it in front of the audience, you're sharing it with the audience who's seen it for the first time. So it's really good. Okay, let's see now. What do we have here? Hi, Anne-Marie, was commenting to someone everyday occurrence with cars going into houses oh, you were commenting. Houses going to where you live. If not in a house, into buildings. People forgot how to drive, I guess. Yes, Anne-Marie, remind me where you live so I don't visit there, or at least I put on a helmet. Hi, Karen. Like to see all the time fair. Yes. Lucky Suit. Watch it when it comes on. Yes, it's one of those things. Hi, Janet. Janet, I'm reluctant to say out loud your comment, but I've already shared it. Was the annoying kid based on real life? I actually love that episode. Yeah, because that is one of the most hated episodes, and it's so well done. And that's why people hate it, because it's really well done. Just when I say, when I see, boy, that Peter, the brother Peter's just a jerk, and I can't stand him. Like, that was the idea, to make him the bane of Robert's existence. So, yes, I believe the annoying kid episode was based on a real life family that Lou Schneider and his wife knew. And I think even the last time he was a guest here, he was reluctant to even share that real life story because he was worried that they might still be watching. So there you go. That was that. Let me see this. Wow, so many questions. Okay, let me not miss. Tom, have you seen the new commercial with Ray and Sebastian Maniscalco for the Winter Olympics in Milan? Hi, Teresa of Tefano's in Tefano family, I'm going to say. Tefano restaurant family in Chicago. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. And again, I don't watch anything, so it's very hard for me to see. If it comes across on Facebook or something, I will see it. But Sebastian Maniscalco has a show called The Bookie, I guess. Is it on that network? Is that why? There's usually a tie-in. But thank you, Teresa. There's one episode Deborah wanted free time, and Ray sees Deborah through the living room window, and then this delivery man is outside with Ray. Yes, that is a funny one. The best shows is when Ray walks in Deborah in slow motion because she wanted some free time. Yes, okay, yes, alone time. That was a lot of it. Okay, I always wondered Doris and Patty stayed in character during the arc of the 3 episodes when they were upset with each other. Bring right to bring it all together with each tension. Thank you, Kingfish Photo. A lot of changes in the photography world. A lot of exciting time for that. Okay, I've caught up. By the way, I should. Yes. Okay. Sorry. When I'm just like, let me share these. Loved the cult episode. Loved how Frank slapped Robert and said he was acting in the moment. By the way, the cult episode is so good because they're all talking about being bad actors and acting, and they're acting as bad actors. It's very, very, meta, as they say, but it's really, really cool. Okay, Maureen. I highly recommend an all nature homeopath. Okay, this is to help Tom heal. I appreciate it, Maureen. Homeopathic cough medicine from a company called Boiron. It includes honey, but a natural ingredient. You really check it out. Chestal. Now I feel like I'm doing a commercial. They also make homeopathic products for cold, sinus condition, fever, and pain relief. Okay, so the natural question everyone's leaving is, Maureen, are you on the payroll of this company? Of course, I'm kidding. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's an annoying because it's kind of winter here. It's sorry. It's Hollywood. It's 60 degrees in May. It's a nightmare coldish condition. Hi, Bob. The Bookie was on HBO Max. Sorry to say it was canceled. Interesting. So I wonder what they're advertising. Thank you for that. Why was Marie's face so white in some of the early episodes? Hi, Patricia. Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, let me see. I haven't been doing it that much because it's a little bit cumbersome. But off of your question, here is a wardrobe script for Frank and Marie's new friends. Okay, so let's see this. Does it say that? Marie and Frank's new friends. Okay, there you go. So interesting. Where's the guest cast? Oh, there we go. Dom Herrera. Yeah. So that was season 2, right? Let's take a look at Marie. So for those that are new, I saved every single episode from the dumpster. And it has a Polaroid of every single actor from every single episode. So let's see if Doris looks white here. So it's hard to tell because of the camera, but I would say, yes, I posted that picture. Okay, we're seeing reflection there, and I apologize. So let's see if we can't. It's hard because it's hard to get exposure. Correct. So, some of the theories about why Marie, because her face did look like she had crazy white makeup on, Doris Roberts. Um, so there's Doris posing in one of her outfits, which is always awesome. Marie dressed really perfectly. So there was a couple of theories from makeup people. Um, I think Erin Kruger was on, and she was talking about it. Um, but I don't know exactly. But it had to do with the lighting, and there was a statement that when you see it on a Polaroid, of course, it's going to be brighter. But you notice it as a TV watcher. You're not looking at my top secret Polaroids at all. Yes, it looks quite white. Um, okay, let's see here. Hi, this is a big one. Okay. My husband always says, I hate that guy whenever Peter's in a scene. I remind him of this comment as just a testament to, yes, Chris Elliott's acting. You don't actually hate him, you just hate the character. Or as Marie would say, Ray, you like the idea of playing the piano. You like the idea. Excellent spelling, excellent script writing there. Yeah, I mean, the annoying kid is the perfect example. It mission accomplished. You hate that episode, you hate that kid, you don't want that kid in your house, and how do you write that episode without having an annoying kid? Um, I don't know. It's just not so fun. It's just not so fun. Hi, Gil. It's pollen season in the UK. Quite a few people sneezing and coughing here. Yes, Gil, I think I caught a cold from someplace, somewhere. But yes, same here. Terrible. Terrible. Okay, Maureen, let's see. I noticed the actor who portrayed the character of Johnny was also used in the episode of When Frank is caught stealing Ray's cable. How did that come about that he was both characters? Okay, so this is a good topic also because before we run out of time, I'm gonna answer that question, and then we have to taste whatever. I hope there's something in here. Oh yeah. Okay, we have to taste something. And for those who are new, I taste something every time. Give it a little rating. We did that in the writers' room. Uh, when whenever it was Raymond started, it was really low ranked, and so the show probably was going to be canceled. It finished the year 83 in the rankings. Okay, where's my mute button? 83 in the ratings, and so okay, yeah, I like the comments about my hair. Um, which is low. So the show is probably going to get canceled. Ray Romano was friends with John Manfrotati in real life. John Manfrotati is the guy that originally got Ray into a place called the Comedy Cellar. If you go on Netflix, you will see Ray has a show called Right Here Around the Corner, and it's where he started doing stand up. Or one of the places he started doing stand up. I believe his first time was at the original Improv, which is no longer there. And John had been on other TV shows. So Ray is like, let me get my friend on the show. My show, it was Raymond, which is really low in the ratings. I think at that point it was 100 in the ratings or 110. I think I should look up what the lowest rated the series ever was. I think it was in the hundreds. That means there's 100 other shows that are people watching. People are watching instead of Everest Raymond. So there's a part for a cable guy. John plays the cable guy. And John goes, thank you, Ray Romano, for giving me that part so maybe I can get insurance this year. Then the show gets picked up for a whole nother season. So now Ray needs a friend. And so that friend is one of them is John Manfrotati, another is Kevin James, and another is Andy Kindler. So Kevin James was Kevin the friend because King of Queens did not exist yet, and therefore he could not be called Doug because someone would need a crystal ball to go, you know what, we're going to call him Doug because in 3 years a show will be created called King of Queens. So I hope that clears it up a little. You don't, in 2020 hindsight, if Ray was like, this show's going to be a hit. Now keep in mind, I've told the story, I won't tell the whole story, but the previous time Ray was in a show, he lasted for 1 day and he was fired from news radio in 1 day. So Ray's history was 1 day and you're fired. So he had felt the wrath of Hollywood before, and so he wanted to get his friend a job. He did. It was very nice. Then the show got picked up, etc. So there you go. Okay. Uh, Let me see. Sorry, I was reading that. Mona, Hey, anybody in Canada here? Anybody in Canada here? Is talking about Paula? Maybe did you ever call Deja Vu or CMTD see if they're going to put it back on? So just so you know, um, the there's always something called a deal, a syndication deal, or a I can't remember what it's called. There's a whole bunch of terms for it. If um, uh, if it runs out of syndication, they pull it off the air. They pay for rights. There's a certain word, and it's not popping into my head, but it goes for different rounds. So they'll be like, okay, Netflix bought Everyone's Raymond for 3 years. Cycles, that's what it's called. Cycles for the next cycle, for another cycle. And so once it runs out, they pull the show. And so as much as I want people to be able to call up and say, I demand that you put Everyone's Raymond back in. They go, well, we paid the owners of that show, $22 million and we can't afford it anymore. So, or the ratings are down if they are down. Hi, Anne-Marie. The Noise Kid is not my favorite. I love the checkbook. I can laugh hysterically every time they go for the ATM. The lady hits him in the bag and Ray's real life brother comes to take him away. Yes. Anne-Marie, based on a real life story, an episode that I wrote, but based on a real life story that Ray made a fake checkbook, a fake savings book to be accurate, because he had lost a little bit of money, and he was hiding it from his wife. Hello, Scotland. It's May, so is it snowing there? Where are you in Scotland? I spent a month in Edinburgh, and it was quite everything. The weather was everything. I love the phrase, just so you know. Yes, a Mike Royce thing that his wife used to say to him. When you called, hi Mona, when you called your cable provider, Video RON, or do you call it Ron? They told me because the contract ran out. Yes, they are not doing it. We are so lucky to still have shows on in Scotland just now. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let me go back to Instagram before I taste a cookie or biscuit that you guys, or as yes, a biscuit as you would go to refer to it in the United Kingdom. Why did they change Peter? Paul Rubens was not going to be available for a big arc, and so we couldn't wait for him to be available because it was, I think, 3 episodes he was in. And so Phil, who hired him originally, who loves Paul Rubens, and Ray loves Paul Rubens, because this rumor will never die, that Ray Romano kicked him off the show, which is, I know from the outside, you're like, is that true, Tom? It's crazy from our side. From when you know the truth, because Phil was responsible for getting Paul Rubens on the show, and we loved him. We thought he was amazing. And then like a year later or whatever, it's like, hey, Paul, we have a 3 episode. He's like, I can't do it. I won't be able to do this one, and then et cetera. Okay, so before we run out of time, everybody, Tom Cultivating here, writer on Everyone's Raymond. One time we had a cookie test in the writer's room it started with Oreos versus Hydrox. Hydrox is an old brand, and so anything to keep from writing. So here we go. Okay, let me see. Oh, British, yes. By the way, I found some Icelandic snacks, but I just didn't get a chance. Here we go. I know for you guys, you're like, Tom, this is like mainstream biscuit. For the United States people, they're like, what is that you're holding, Tom? McVitie's digestives, is that how you would say it if you were pompous? Chocolate creams. Okay. So I try and scale it 1 to 10. Okay, here you go, by the way. Yes, everybody. Sorry, that mic sound is going to be very strong. We're trying to figure out how to make replicas and sell it, but it's so expensive. This one is, heavy duty metal. So let me not drop it. Okay, fair enough. Okay, where do these fit, my UK friends? The McVitie's chocolate creams. I try and be fair. I try and judge. I try and use my sophisticated palate of a guy who grew up in New Jersey who never saw these. Wow, I keep forgetting to bring a cutting, again, my impression of the guy behind you in the theater. Other people don't need to hear. This is what I'm looking around. Okay. Wow, it's really gloomy here. Okay, let's hear some questions. Okay, the actor who portrayed the annoying kid was really good. He annoyed a lot of people, including the viewers. Um, do you know what he's doing now or after that episode? Yes, Maureen, excellent question. I don't know. I think did I read somewhere that he's a doctor or something? Does that make sense? Could that make sense? Okay, this would be sad if I can't even open a cook. I'm gonna have to go to the gym. Uh, these are adult. I was gonna say they're childproof, but it's more adult thing. I also don't want to mangle, but I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, look away, everybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's not working. I don't want to leave my post here, so let me um, see. Okay, I'm gonna have to use this implement, which some people call a pencil, to poke a little bit of. Okay, so for everybody, what I explained the difference between the American cookies and the biscuits in the UK is the American cookies are insanely sweet compared to UK cookies or biscuits. Okay, I really mangled this top one, so I'm oh my goodness, this is like a train. This is like a train wreck. Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna need a vacuum, a mop, and a triage center. Okay, I got to get to a clean one. Wow. If you guys could see what's going on here. Okay, here we go. This is the first one that's even survived. So it's a delicious chocolate biscuit, right? Is that what we're calling it? I'm gonna eat it because that was so painful. Mm-hmm. Well, did you want to hear louder chewing? I don't know where we are on that desire. Okay, again, British biscuit. Um. Mm-hmm. Okay, Karen, this will cover my. I'm going to say you're missing the word like, right? I don't like digestive creams are so popular as regular chocolate digestives, chocolate on the other side only. Um yeah, so now Karen you're comparing. Karen is in Plymouth, England, so it's kind of you barely taste the chocolate. So it's not as interesting. Hold on. There's the McVitie's with the dark chocolate on the outside. Those things are dangerously good. Okay, let me sorry. What can I hold up here? A script. Here's what a script looks like, people. That's the wardrobe script. A wardrobe script showing you from all those notes on there. That's what I should for. Okay. I'm going to try another one, not because I'm selfish or so yes, Karen, I'm going to say the impact of having the chocolate on the outside, right? The McVitie's might be like, hey, it's the same amount of chocolate, um, Mr. Unsophisticated. So there we go again. It's kind of I'm going to give this a 6.7. They're kind of and sorry, I got to pop it all in my mouth or I'm going to be covered even more with crumbs. Mhm. Oh, Maureen, you're correct. My cold is probably affecting my taste buds. I may have to retaste these. But or if I had another chocolate on the outside McVitie's, what are those called, Karen? That is a good point. So I may have to retaste this, but I'm going to give it a 6.7. They're kind of, and I don't know if Karen was leading the witness and therefore I listened to her, but um, um, yeah, 6.7. It's kind of a dull. It's still tasty. I would still eat the whole sleeve in one sitting, but it's not as exciting as the McVitie's with chocolate on the outside. Okay. Hi, Kathleen. Before we wrap it up, how about the episode when Deborah fakes getting a breast implant? Yes, real life story. Lou Schneider. That's called Boob Job, the official title. And Lou went to a party. I forget if it was a Super Bowl party, but his wife came down and said, "Hey, the hostess showed me her new breasts." And Lou was like, where was I? You got to get me. It's a dull game. Get me next time. Then later in bed that night, hold on. Sorry, folks. You know what's not good for a cough? Dry cookies and talking for an hour. Okay. So in bed that night, Lou's wife, who's a attractive and delightful human being, says to Lou, you don't think I need breast implants, do you? And Lou paused for a second. And so in that pause was a fight, a good fight brewing. So that he came in with that story and we're like, oh, that seems terrible, Lou. Your life is terrible. What a good fight. That will be an episode. So there you go. Yeah. So Ryan, that's called problem solving. Maybe separate one and try the chocolate. But is that fair? You know, that's like licking the jelly out of a jammy Dodger. That could be problematic. Okay. Chocolate hobnobs from the UK. They are. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. Hi, Annabelle. You got home in time for tasting. No, I did not break the speeding laws on the highway. That's how close you live to the casino. Mohegan Sun, dare I ask? We did it inside the writer's room there. Yes, Henry, funny. Maybe a little jalapeno. That's how, now, Maureen, you are technically correct. That's how Oreos are eaten. That is true. That is very true. I hate when everybody's correct. All right. Final questions, everybody. Let's look over on Instagram. I really appreciate, again, 5,000 new followers in the last week. So if you guys, if people are asking a question, which they're going to ask, like, who is this guy? You guys feel free. I try and answer, and I don't get offended because they still ask, who's Phil? The guy Phil you keep calling? Can Ray or Phil cook? No, and no. Nope. Phil has a food show, Somebody Feed Phil, on Netflix. And hi, Rebecca Frank. When you took photos on the set, are the photos not property of the studio? Are you threatening to turn me in, Rebecca? They were going into the dumpster, so they were garbage. They are officially garbage. So I'll put it a different way, Rebecca. If the wardrobe people said, Tom, we're throwing this in the dumpster, would you like to dig them out of the dumpster? Because once I throw them in the dumpster, it's trash. And I go, you know what? Let's save a step from having my friend hold my ankles as I dig into the dumpster to get these out. So yeah, they were garbage to them. I know it's crazy to think about, but it's a production. They don't care. We have the nostalgia. You guys who are watching me, which I thank you for, you guys love the show and know all the details of the show and would kill to have a script from the show. But the Warner Brothers was just a place where they rented a stage from. So Warner Brothers at the time is just like, hey, get rid of your junk. And so the wardrobe department and most sane people would be like, dumpster. But I, who decided, let me save that from the dumpster. And look, the pictures are, the pictures are, and I said this before, if I could have had a Polaroid of every scene of I Love Lucy, how amazing would that be to see now? Because you see everybody in a different thing. Let me leave us with here we go. Like there we go. There is Patty, right? That Polaroid would be gone 20 years ago, right? There's Patty looking great in Frank and Marie's new friends. There we go. So I hope that answers your question, Rebecca, and you won't turn me in. Yes, thank you, Maureen. I'm going to look up Chestall. Yes, I got to go, but have a good week, Tom, and have a good week, everybody, and thanks for today. Yes, Mona. I will talk to all of you. I may not be here next week. Next week is Mother's Day. So Mother's Day, I think I'm going to be flying. I think I'm going to be in the air actually at 2 p.m. But keep your questions coming because I write them down and I'm like, let me talk about that next time. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good week and I will see you soon.